everybody. Welcome to day 26 of the Blossom Sketchbook Challenge, my daily sketchbook practice for the month of November, incorporating mixed media as well as zentangle. And today's blossom is Hanary. And you can see how to draw it. The step outs are in the document that's linked below, so feel free to pop over to that. And I'm having a great day. I have to tell you, everything just has been so wonderful today. Had a great day at work, and the time had just flew by. So let's see what my good mood brings us on the paper today. So I am starting with a background that I'm going to prep by using golden high flow acrylics. So I have a white and a violet and a purple that I'm going to use. Let's see what we get. So I shook them up before I hit record. I'm notorious for shaking them with them open, and literally the color, the acrylic going everywhere across the room. It's terrible. So now when I shake them, I try to put my finger over the top just in case I have done that. I'm going to start with a little bit of the darker colors so it's not too overwhelming, especially this purple is really dark. So let's see what we get. Pretty. I have a paper towel underneath as well so that it does not, or less of it, because I still always wind up making a mess, less of it gets through to the next page or 5 pages down, because somehow that happens to me too. So this one's a little darker, but still nice and pale. If you don't want to get your fingernails wet or painted on, you could just take like a pen or something else and just hold down the paper. I find like it's easier if it's bubbling up. I like the soft look today. Yeah, that's pretty. Love it. Okay, so I am going to put this into water. I have a water cup off to the side so it doesn't dry up. And then I am going to pause this. I'm going to take a hair dryer and I'm going to blow dry it. So this is a piece of tracing paper, and you can see that it's see-through. And I have had this laying around, and what I had previously done with it was taken a jelly plate and I made a print on tracing paper because I thought, why not? So I'm going to add these colors. How perfect, right? With this. So I love the parts that you can see the little bumps. I'm gonna rip this. I can't remember if I know I had a few pieces of this. I don't remember if I had used it in any previous pages or not, but I think that's super cool. I have a little angle. So maybe I'll put a piece here. And I don't know, maybe something, I don't know, maybe just in the corner. I almost wish I didn't rip it. Again, you can see that I like to kind of just move around and play. Let's see. Another, actually, I have this here too. This is a piece of scrapbook paper. Let me see if I like any of this. And I like ripping. I like having these messy edges. I think the messy edges are so fun. Sometimes I'll leave a straight edge just at the top. So maybe I'll do that. And then let's see. I have a little piece behind here. That is a even number. I like odd numbers. See my indecisiveness, right? This is the fun part. I love doing this. It's kind of bopping around. I like that. Okay, so I am going to take a glue stick, which has seemed to disappear from my work. Oh, there it is. It's just buried under all of my stuff. I have so many different creative tools around. So I have my glue stick here, whatever brand you have. This has been working pretty well. And I kind of go on top like this. This is how I like to apply it. You could take a piece of scrap paper, flip it over, Don't recommend putting it on the sketchbook page though, because you'll have extra glue in areas that you may not want it. All right, so I'm going to go in and glue the rest of these pieces down. So cool already. I absolutely love it. I am noticing that with the tracing paper, it is curling a little bit, but I have a solution for that later on. I am going to put a little piece on I forgot to put a piece on my little note page. I like keeping track of what I'm working with so I can go back. And this is a sketchbook. These are not masterpieces. This will build ideas for me for maybe a future art piece. So this is bubbling up. See that? It's a little weird. So, but like I said, I do have a solution for that in a little bit. Okay, so I like the start of this background. If you hear popping, there is bubble wrap on the floor that my wheels keep running over. All right, so I think also I'm going to, no, I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna start tangling, and I'm debating whether I want to tangle right over everything and try it out because it is kind of bumpy. It's going to be interesting to see if it works, or if I should do something on another piece of paper. But you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try drawing right on here. But the beginning part of Hanary, oh, I have a different idea, guys. Okay, one second. Let me go get some supplies. So this is what creating is about. Whatever you start with in your head, ideas, that may not be the final thing. And that's what's so great about it. I tell my middle school students that all the time that, don't get stuck on an idea. Things might change. Again, this is bothering me, but we'll see what happens. So I've taken some of the high fluid acrylics in the colors that I did for the background, but this was the pure color, right? It's brighter than the background, which I think will work out good. And I'm going to just put this off the screen. And the very first couple steps of Hanary, I'm going to paint on. This is crazy, right? Okay, so I'm going to start, let's see. I'm going to start with, let's see, I'm going to start with some of this lighter of the purples here. See if it shows up. Okay, great, it does. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first part here. It's very thin, so for me, I want this. If you want to cover everything up completely, you're going to want to use a regular medium-bodied acrylic. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to add some petals on. And again, this is going to be like a variation. It's going to be a little bit different than the actual Hanary because I'm painting here. So we'll see what happens. And listen, if you don't like it, just keep going. Trust the process. See what happens. I've had plenty of pages here, and everything in your sketchbook, it may not be a masterpiece. That's fine. It's about learning what you like, what you don't like, and playing, just having fun. And it doesn't have to be a pretty picture at the end. If you find that you enjoy just what you did, that is a reward in itself. And you just taking the time to be here and for yourself is important, because I know so many of us have so much going on in our lives, and we're always, a lot of us are worrying about other people, taking care of everyone else, but you can't take care of everyone else if you're not taking care of yourself first. So just remember that. Okay. They're a little funky, some of the petals, but I don't mind. I think that looks really cool right now. All right, I'm a mess already. I'm going to come over here. I don't know how that painted over it okay, but this is really bubbly. So let's just see what happens. bubbly like me. I feel bubbly today. You know, I just had such a fabulous weekend at Krapala. I started telling you about that yesterday, and I feel so inspired and just so grateful for the people I've met and what I learned and the whole Zentangle community. Um, I really enjoyed sharing everything with my middle school students, even though, you know, I just gave them a quick glimpse, but I have lots of ideas for projects for them, which I'm excited about. And not just Zentangle, just taking some of those ideas, you know, it's not all about Zentangle. I learned so much about color, and I continue to learn about composition and balance and things like that, just that are important in creating all art. And, you know, it's something that might have known how to do for years and years. Somebody might say something that gives you a new way to look at an old concept. So I really love relearning things as well, relearning and then learning new things. I think here I'm going to put a part of one, how my spacing is. And listen, let's say you're just like, oh my gosh, I love my whole entire sketchbook. Everything's been coming out fabulous. And then you get to a page and you're like, I don't like this. Well, you can get something called gesso and you could paint over your page and start again. Maybe it might be a little bumpy, but if you need a take two, that could be an option for you. But for me, I really just say, you know, I say a lot of times, don't rip pages out of your sketchbooks. Let that page that you don't like be part of the process and see how you can reflect back to it. And you might even decide down the road like that you actually like something you didn't like. Oh, this got really dark. This is still purple, but it just looks super dark here. Wow, that's a big petal. That's all right. Okay. So these are fun. And again, these little pieces popping up, I will problem solve that after. Okay, so these, before I have what's in my head, which might wind up changing as we already know, what I have here, I'm going to let this dry or take a hair dryer or a heating tool and dry it. Okay, I think everything is dry. It just looks a little shiny in some areas. Again, got those little areas popping up, and that's okay. Okay, so I've taken this Moonlight, or I am taking this Moonlight 10. I prefer the 10. If you want to know the number of this, because I don't know if that it's going to focus on it. It's really hard to see. Yeah, it's not focusing. It's number 34719. I do have my glasses on, and it still is difficult to read. All right, so I'm going to see, this may work. If it doesn't, then I will go back in with black. So I just thought maybe it would be nice not to have black on this, but we'll see. So let's get in a little closer so that you can see a little better. Okay, so bear with me. So when I do the voiceovers, all this would be cut out for you guys. So what do you like better? Do you like a short video that is all edited and I speed past everything, or do you prefer me chatting and having a voiceover? If you have a preference and you want to write it in the comments, that would be really great. So now I'm adding the next step of Hanary in. So again, you know, obviously, since I'm not doing a traditional Zentangle drawing here, this is going to be changed a little bit. So can you see that there? It's really cool. It shows up definitely better, oops, better in person. I'm curious what it would look like photographed in natural light. So far this is going over this really nicely. Can see me going over and repeating some of the lines on here. White would absolutely stand out more. I'm kind of debating if maybe one of them, maybe this one in the middle for balance, I should go in with a white jelly roll. I have to tell you, this is actually working a lot better than the white ones do. I always forget about these moonlight ones. They're really so lovely to use. I don't know why I don't use them more often. Maybe next month in my December Tingle Time Tuesday classes, I'll start using them a little bit more or giving them as an option for those people that have it. Not everyone might have it. So Tuesday nights, I teach a Zoom class, Eastern time. I love it. Oh my gosh, Tuesday nights are one of my favorite nights. I am so lucky to have a wonderful group that comes and tangles with me every Tuesday night. I've made such wonderful friendships and they keep me so motivated and they really drive me to keep learning and practicing. I do a lot of practice for each class, they'll tell you. I do a lot of work for our hour and a half together. A lot of work, and I don't say work because it's not really work when I get to draw. To me, it's just enjoyment. Okay, so I think that is pretty cool. I like where that is going so far. I'm also going to add, you know what I think I'll do? And let's try the white on here now. Or I have it's an '06 though. I have this gray rather than a white. I wonder what this looks like. Kind of like that. It's not too, it's a little bit better than the white as far as being too stark of a contrast. I'm going to add a little bit of a aura, a tethered aura in the inside of each of these. Maybe I'll reverse. I don't love the '06. I do prefer a 10. And the difference is that the higher the number, the wider the point. So this is a narrower point, but I find with the 10, the ink flows smoother, comes out nicer. And you want to have a nice light touch with this as well. And I'm also, I think I hit a little wet spot. I'm going to scribble on my finger. So I'm also going to, in the inside of that little piece that's coming up here, there is a little detail that is an embellishment that is suggested. So I'm going to add a little dot. And if you did want to make some areas stand out a little bit more, you could actually take a white, here's a white jelly 10, and I'm just thinking maybe on like one side. What does that look like? I like that, like a little highlight on one side. Could add that in. Oops, I forgot. Forgot an aura. Okay. You know what? So this is why you do things bits and pieces too. I think I want to do the white going all the way around now that I'm looking at it. So pause every now and then, hold your book, even though it's a sketchbook, so it's a sheet of paper, lift that sketchbook up. It's tiny. Well, probably. And hold it, even if it's big, hold it up at arm's length and look at what you have accomplished so far, what else you want to add. So I really like that a lot. And I'm going to go in and have a white circle here. Again, I'm kind of going over it a few times. Sometimes things get thicker as you start to clean it up too. And I have a big area I'm working here, so that's fine. All right, pretty. Maybe a few little dots also. Okay, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to go in and do the last two. So it could be finished at this point, if you want to be. I did go back and add a little bit of embellishments. And now that I'm looking again, I feel like I do have little purple dots here, but I feel like they're kind of just disappearing. So I'm going to offset a little white tap on each of these just for a little bit more of a pop. I like that better. Okay, so I have dual metallic here, a pink and a purple one. I'm not sure how it's going to show up. I want to add a little texture on the background and kind of like a skipping, broken, not such a neat line. And I'm going to start over here. Okay, so this is a purple. And I'm going to add some of these swirls, these printemps in. And again, I'm just doing really delicate. I don't want the whole thing to show. And I'm just doing purple over purple just for a subtle little look. May or may not want to do this, which is great because here I am, the guinea pig, right? So that you can see, I don't like that. You might hear me say, I don't like it. And you're like, I agree. Or you might say, I disagree. And I do. So you make the decision. I have such a loose grip on my pen. I wonder maybe up here where that is starting to get a little bit more pinky. Maybe I'll switch to the pink. I'm not doing it on the paper, just doing it on the paint. So the paper has so much patterns already that I don't really feel the need. I'm not sure how you feel about this, but I'm having so much fun, which what matters. Whoever is creating needs to enjoy their work. So don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. If you're happy with something that you create, that is the most important thing. I like that I switched to the pink there. So long, I was always trying to make other people happy with me, the end result not being the happy one. It's not a good thing. All right, super love it. I'm really happy with this. So I do have these little pieces that are popping up. So I'm gonna go grab something. So I have this Mod Podge. They sell it in different finishes. This is a glossy one, but you could use a matte one if you prefer. And I'm just because the materials, I don't know about this tracing paper, me going over the whole thing. So you could just put the Mod Podge over everything, but I'm gonna put a little bit where it's popping up underneath because it's like a glue. And then I'm going to just smooth those edges down a bit. Let's see if this stays any better. And you know, I do, those of you that have watched my other videos, I do prefer to use my fingers. Just feel like if I press down, it stays better. Oh, look what happened though. Do you see that? It erased my print hump. That's interesting. Okay, so I think then what I'm going to do is it's kind of a cool faded look though. I don't even hate it. I might just leave it. I kind of like that smudge. Now I feel like I want to smudge somewhere else on purpose. All right, so maybe that was a good happening. See, that's what I'm saying. Like you don't know what you're going to get. So I don't know. I might just leave that part there. All right, let me blow dry this and see what we have. All right, so I've been looking at it for a few minutes while I was paused, and I don't mind the smudging. I could go back and touch it up, but just makes it feel more artsy to me. And yeah, it doesn't bother me. So, it really is a personality and a preference. So I am really happy. I think that my mood for the day has come out in this and it feels joyful to me. And I hope you enjoyed creating and following along. And please tag me at hashtag DANIGIRLART and also our 30 Days of Blossoms so that I can see your work. And tomorrow will be day 27, and it's so bittersweet. We're coming to a finale here. So thanks for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm so excited. Also, I can't believe I didn't mention this earlier. I have finally reached 1,000 subscribers, which might seem like not a big deal for some people, but my goal was for the ends of November to hit 1,000, and it's happened. So I'm really thrilled. It's just all around been a very positive, good day. I hope that your day, if had was full of positivity too. And if you had a rough day, look around, see what you can find that you are grateful for. See you tomorrow.